Hello, boys and girls. It is raining like crazy, so much so that I got absolutely soaking wet going to the mailbox. I had to take a shower, which is a great idea because when you're already wet, the solution is to get more wet, or wetter. But the water was warm and I was able to dry off, and I didn't have all the clothes sticking to me. So, yeah, anyway, before we get started, I'm making it sound like a class, aren't I? Before we get started, students, so I was in the neighborhood of 2nd and Charles. I had some trade-in credit because I traded in some stuff, and I was able to find some good deals. So just want to show those really fast. First up is this Guys Being Guys Party 3-pack here, which, again, trying to see more comedies. I feel like I'm pretty weak in the comedy department. And the reason why I got that one is because I can use my Revenge of the Nerds slip, because it has the movie in there. And then I got a couple of things back that I used to have, and I'm so glad that they didn't sell already. But it was Mother's Day, the remake, signed by Lloyd Kaufman, because he has a cameo in there, and it's a remake of a Troma film that actually it was Lloyd's brother who directed. It was Charles Kaufman. But this one was Darren Lynn Bousman, who did the good Saw movies, like some of my favorites, like Saw 2 and 3 and 4. And then also Hatchet 2, which again also autographed by Lloyd because he has a cameo in there. And I need to get the other Hatchet films. I know that there are a lot of Adam Green fans out there who really love his body of work, and so yeah, I need to see the other Hatchet films. And then what else do I have? Jailhouse Rock with Elvis, of course. More and more of Elvis's filmography is starting to come to Blu-ray, which is nice. You just got to know where to look, but still, like, this was actually fairly inexpensive. But yeah, that's probably his most iconic movie. And then I found one of my favorite martial arts films, at least. There's so many out there that I need to see, but like, out of ones that I've seen, House of Flying Daggers, this is one of my favorites. I remember seeing this in the theater when it came to the United States in 2004. It was Zhang Yimou, which I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's got Ji Zhang from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Hero, and Memoirs of a Geisha. Really good actress. And out of all the martial arts films that came to the United States from like 2000, like in the 2000s, in the wake of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, all the wushu films, this one was always my favorite. And I wish it would get a 4K, but still, I'm just glad to have it again. And then I found some ones that were like $195, unbelievably low price, and so I was like, I got to do it. But it was another Ji Zhang film, Legend of the Black Scorpion. Again, I need comedies and martial arts. Gotta expand my horizons a bit. And then Bullet to the Head, which was also $195, and I believe there's a slipcover for this, but I'll have to track it down separately. This is a Walter Hill action film from 2013. I have no idea if it's any good or not. It looks like it's cheese-tastic. And then, how did that get in there? There's a very good reason for this. So, A, it's got a slipcover, and I'm a slipcover psychopath. B, it's a Target exclusive. C is directed by Lasse Hallström, who did My Life as a Dog, which is an excellent film from 1985. And I wanted to see more of, these two actors, Amanda Seyfried and Channing Tatum. I want to see more of their filmography because, I didn't really think much of them at the time, but then they both came along and they impressed me so much with, First Reformed for Amanda Seyfried and Jennifer's Body as well. I saw that first. And Channing Tatum, who I didn't really think much of at the time, I thought he did amazing in Foxcatcher, and I was like, well, okay, maybe there's more to him than meets the eye, but it is important to see where people came from. And I haven't watched a sappy romance in a while, so why not? And now we got 2 packages from Amazon. These are ones that I know what these are. And we'll just knock them out first. because they are, to be expected. I pre-ordered these quite a while ago, and you gotta... Pre-ordering on Amazon is always a good idea just because you can lock in that pre-order guarantee, and so that way you can get the lowest price from the time that you pre-order to the time that the movie comes out, or whatever it is that you pre-order. And they don't charge your card until it actually ships, and that way you get, they can process the lowest price. So it's a great deal. But anyway, the ones I pre-ordered were the 4Ks of Zombie and Maniac, the William Lustig's Maniac and Lucio Fulci's Zombie, also known as Zombie 2 in its native Italy, also known as Zombie Flesh Eaters in the UK. Who knows what you want to call it, just really is up to you, I suppose. And, obviously, horror fans will know that Zombie with no Z-O-M-B-I, no E at the end. That was the Dario Argento Italian re-edit of George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, and that version was called Zombie in Italy. And then with the Italian ripoff, I'm just getting the plastic off, with the Italian ripoff films that were prevalent at the time, there was the Lucio Fulci film Zombie, or Zombie 2, sorry. They gave it that title just to try and bank off the success of George Romero's film, even though it has nothing to do with it. And then in the United States, because there was no Zombie 1, for us, even though it was Dawn of the Dead, they just called it Zombie. And so then when Zombie 3 came out, they didn't change the title, they just called it Zombie 3 in the United States. And so it was like, well, where's Zombie 2? Well, this is it. And then in the UK, this became Zombie Flesh Eaters, and then Zombie 3 became Zombie Flesh Eaters 2, and it just got crazy. But yeah, so this is the Blue Underground 4K, and I'm glad that they are doing 4K releases. I suppose it's inevitable that they would, and I'm glad for it, but still, it was like, hey, look at that. Some non-mainstream films are starting to get the 4K treatment. This is a good sign. More of this, please. And then, Maniac, just now I'm thinking about it, these would make a great double feature, don't you think? Great date movies. But yeah, Maniac there with that. What's up with the bulge there, man? So this is starring, what's his name? He was in Rocky, Joe Spinell. He was in Rocky and in Taxi Driver. He plays our main character here. And yeah, this is kind of a cult favorite for the slasher genre. And, it was I think it was a Video Nasty in the UK, but I think those are both Video Nasties, in fact. But the song Maniac that was later used in Flashdance that Mike, I think it was, what was it, Michael Cimbello, yeah, that he wrote, that song, she's a maniac on the floor, that song got used in Flashdance, originally written for this movie, and the lyrics were changed, obviously, but I think that's just an amusing historical fact. Okay, now on to eBay and other assorted things. This one is from Duluth, Georgia. What could it be? What could it be? Let's find out. Oh yeah, this was something I wasn't planning on buying, at least not right away, not when I did. But it was one of those things where the eBay auction was ending like right as I was getting on eBay, and I was like, I want to see this, and it did have the slipcover, was Color Out of Space, the one that's based on the H.P. Lovecraft story with our dear friend Nicolas Cage in 4K with the slip and at a good price, so it was like, hey, why not? And yeah, Nicolas Cage with H.P. Lovecraft, that just seems to fit, don't you think? I think so. But yeah, there are discs there. I like the poster a lot too. I like some of these with RLJE. They put out some more off the beaten track films. Like they've put out Like they put out Brawl in Cell Block 99. They put out Bone Tomahawk. You know, they've put out some off the beaten track films, and I admire that. And you know, they get them in Walmart and common places to find them. So good for them for bringing these off the beaten track films to the mainstream. And I'm just looking at it right now. One of the producers on this film is Elijah Wood. How cool is that? Elijah Wood's got kind of a knack for horror that people don't really know about, or at least like disturbing things, because everybody knows him as Frodo. But like, you know, he was in the remake of Maniac as the star, and you know, he played the really disturbing serial killer character in the first Sin City. Now this one's from La Prairie, Quebec in Canada, and it says to not bend it, so we will not be bending it like Beckham, I'm afraid. Sorry to all the UK football fans out there. And when I say football, I mean, well, you know, soccer to the American ears, but, you know, trying to not be sacrilegious. Alright, well, this is good. These are quite a lot of slipcovers that I have been looking for. These are ones that I got separately because the movies that these come with, you know, they didn't come with the slipcovers, and I managed to find the Canadian slips that are corresponding. So first up, these are all ones you've seen before. Shark Night, Columbiana, which it's hard to find the slipcover for this in the United States, let alone the Canadian one. So I was lucky to find that. Get the Gringo there, which we've seen before. Now this is one, I didn't even know that this had a slipcover, but it was Doubt. And Doubt's a really, really good movie. If you've never seen it, go out and see it. It's so good. It's three of the best actors of their time all together in one place. And rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman. I blanked on the name for a minute. But yeah, rest in peace. He was one of the best actors of his generation, gone way too soon. But yeah, great film if you haven't seen it. Silent House, which I love that cover, much better than the one that we got in the United States. And of course, Silent Hill Revelation 3D, that slipcover. I didn't even know it had one, but it's awesome. Glad to put these on, and they're in good condition. And yeah, it's just awesome because slipcover psychopath. Anyway, last one up is from New Braunfels, Texas. What could this be, you ask? Alright, what could it be? What could it be? Feels like multiple things, or at least one big thing, I'm not sure. It's got so much paper in there, I can't even tell. But it just delays the inevitable, and it heightens the suspense. Oh boy. What is this exactly? Like, there's so many layers to this. Okay, so we've got paper that looks a bit like straw that you might have stuffed in a scarecrow, but it hasn't been, like, torn out of the sheets yet. It's, you know, like it came in sheets and they didn't. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just a weird design there. But anyway. Now this is something that I found on eBay. Do you remember the, what was it? Yeah, the Hateful Eight, that edition that we looked at before. I think it was South Korean. Well, check this out. This is Mad Max Fury Road, lenticular front and back, which is so awesome. And what makes it cool is that it's got the 4K of, there we go. It's got the 4K of Mad Max Fury Road and the black and chrome edition, which is really sweet. And it's a steelbook inside. It's got all kinds of cool stuff. I was lucky to find this. I think, honestly, out of all the Mad Maxes, I thought this one was easily the best one. And I rank them as Fury Road, Road Warrior, Beyond Thunderdome, and then actually the first one. Not to say that any of them are bad, because they're not. It's just, for me, like, those are how they stack up for me. But anyway, yeah, so there's the inside of the steelbook there. We've got the 4K of the color version, and then we've got not 4K, but we have the black and chrome edition, which yeah, apparently George Miller always intended this film to be in black and white, and I thought it was so cool that with this film and with Logan, that they gave you the option of watching it in black and white, with the noir edition of Logan, and then the black and chrome of this, and which is funny because, I mean, this is like pretty, which I guess this is more yellow than orange really, but like if you guys know anything about film color theory and you ever hear the terms teal and orange, the reason why is because they are, when you're color grading a film, you generally speaking these days you want to shoot as neutrally as possible in terms of color, and the reason being is because that way you can adjust when you're doing your color correction, you can adjust how you want it to look, and you can get kind of fancy with it if you want. And one of the easy ways to make sure that your film looks consistent, and it's in color, of course, one of the easy ways to make it look consistent and also to make the visuals pop is if you have colors that, well, they're opposite on the color wheel, and they are colors that can be consistent for like skin tone and the contrast of the blue sky and things like that. And so the common color tones tend to be leaning on the side of teal, which is like kind of a lightish blue, and then orange, which it's not even perfect orange. This is more yellow, but still, the theory is still the same. I think one of the first people to really, I don't know if it was the first, but one of the more notable examples was Michael Bay with his Transformers films, especially the first two. Those were notable examples of that. And the reason they do that is because it's you can maintain consistency between scenes easier, but also it helps to pop. The visuals pop because there's a lot of contrast without it being like primary colors. So yeah, little film theory there. And then I love the box here. It's lenticular. I love I don't know. I thought it was just an awesome movie. I don't get why there are people that don't like it. I mean, most people do, but like there's that vocal minority of, oh, it's, why isn't Mad Max the main character? He is the main character, guys. Furiosa is, you could call her like a co protagonist. Like you could say it has two protagonists. Ooh, cool. Now this was always my favorite of the posters right there. I wish that was in more common circulation than it is. This is a cool booklet here, and it's got all kinds of cool photos and stuff. But yeah, Max is a dual protagonist with Furiosa, and their arcs complement each other. And I mean, they reference the death of his family from the first film, and so I mean, it's all about him trying to reconcile his past and try to guide these the brides and Furiosa to safety. All that stuff. It's, I mean, anybody that says that he gets sidelined or whatever, I mean, I'm sorry, but just no, that's not true. I love this character. I cannot remember his name, but I thought he was great. I love the kind of cult of personality that the big bad guy, who can't remember his name. Only saw it once, but I want to watch it again. Oh, Rosie Huntington, either Whiteley or Whitley, I don't know, but yeah, she was in the third Transformers, and I'm glad that she was in a really good movie here. And but yeah, I thought thematically it was just great, and I had no real obvious complaints about it. I also saw, this is cool, so like a little card thing here. I also saw them all more or less back to back, and I didn't really grow up with them, so I didn't have any like built-in prejudices or anything. So it was, I guess it was just easier for me to just accept it. But I thought Tom Hardy was good. I mean, obviously you couldn't have done Mel Gibson unless you were doing what I guess that in the 90s they were trying to do a version of the story where Max was going to, well, he was older, and that he was going to try to pass the torch on to a newer, like one of the kids from the third one that was a little bit older but wasn't like a full-grown adult yet. He was going to pass the torch along, and it was going to be like a big thing there. And I guess they didn't do that because the fourth Mad Max film just lingered in development hell ever since '85, ever since Beyond Thunderdome came out. I love those. Those are cool cards there. So yeah, I mean, I loved it. I was so glad that they got it off the ground, and it just proves that, well, it was a brilliantly shot, brilliantly executed action film, lots of tension. It proves that you can make a great action film that will last, in the modern day. You don't have to. I mean, CGI was certainly used, but it's like there's a lot of. I'd say most of it was there. There was a lot more real elements than not, and also it just again it had tension. It had. The action sequences were well conceived and the visuals were stunning. It's everything you'd want this kind of movie to be, and it was a well written script. It had it all. I'm a little disappointed that it didn't do better at the box office, but I think it did well on home video, and that can help as well. But yeah, great edition. Glad that I got both editions in the same package, because normally they don't come in the same package, and black and chrome, I guess, is getting harder to find as a separate release, but I'm really happy with this one. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff, wouldn't you say? So yeah, stay dry out there if it's raining where you are, because it sure is where I am. And yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, set phasers to stun, warp factor 5. And yeah, what are some things that you are watching lately, especially depending on what the quarantine situation is, if your state or town or country or whatever, depending on if they're reopening or what, are you watching things? What are you doing? Just let me know. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next video.